Right then, this is a quick walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V, and it's the 1.6 diesel SR version. As you can see here, this is the 2015 model, and they look absolutely fantastic with this new front end design, alloy wheel design. It makes such a huge difference. It's a really striking car, and it's in absolutely beautiful condition, this car, inside and out. Fully serviced from new, all of its serviced and conducted by Honda, and the final one actually done by a Lexus dealership, but really clean and tidy. Front of the car, hard to spot a single stone chip on it. It really is that clean. I'm sure there will be somewhere if you get the magnifying glass out. I apologise, it's a lovely beautiful sunny day, which is rubbish for videos, but I will persevere. Near side of the car, really clean on the panels. Around the front here, alloy wheel on this side, absolutely perfect. Worth pointing out, there were a couple of advisories on the last MOT, rear brake pads and front tyres. They've both been attended to by the last owner, so nothing left on there at all now. Panel work, beautiful. Again, rear alloy unmarked. Come around the back of the car again, facelift version, got the chrome strip going across. Chrome strip at the bottom as well, silver trim I should say. Offside of the vehicle, as with the near side, pretty much mirror smooth on the panels. I'm going to come around this way because the sun is glaring quite badly. Rear offside alloy, absolutely unmarked. And the panel work, try not to trip over. It's absolutely beautiful. It's not to say there won't be the odd tiny little mark, but they will be tiny. Last alloy is absolutely super as well. So externally, we're looking at a really lovely looking car. It happens to be in fantastic condition too. In the shade now, hopefully less glary. Boot area looks almost as new. It's hard to believe really that the car's done 65,000 miles, because externally and internally it certainly doesn't look like it. And given that CR-Vs are generally used for their purpose, which is carrying stuff and kids and everything, this one's been given the lightest of lives. Coming to the back of the car now, door cards, all the door cards are in beautiful condition. Full set of tailored Honda mats in the car. Again, all fabulous. And this half leather interior looks fantastic on the car and is absolutely unmarked in the back here. A huge amount of rear leg room, and I'm not cheating because those front seats are set for me and I'm over 6 foot tall. Front passenger door card, again, pretty much looks as new. Footwell area is absolutely clean as a whistle, and the front passenger seat there, hardly been given any use. So finally, driver's door card, again absolutely clean as a whistle. I apologise for glaring on the carpet, but it's ever so clean. And driver's seat again, it's just wonderfully clean. Back there so you can see the bolster, but it is very clean. It hardly shows any wear at all. So sat inside the car now, engine's running for this section so the dashboard can be seen illuminated. The dash again just looks absolutely as new. It's got that factory fresh finish to it. Sat nav working absolutely perfectly. Pop the car into reverse. Get that lovely clear gridded parking camera. Dual zone climate control system functioning perfectly as well. All the little recesses, everything's been kept just wonderfully clean. It'd be hard to imagine a cleaner example anywhere in the marketplace. Coming in there for you, 65,959 miles and only a low fuel light illuminated on the dashboard. Steering wheel looks and feels as new in hand. Of course, you've got cruise control, auto lights, auto wipers. It shares a lot of its specification with the EX, which is the one just above this car. Just to quickly show you, owner's manual pack is present with the car, as are the lock and wheel nut key set. So finally, just to come under this wonderfully presented engine bay from Honda. Absolutely super engines, they really are. Cam chain driven, no cam belts to worry about them at all. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V, and it's the 1.6 diesel SR version. Registered FP15DCF with a mileage of 65,953 currently showing. The reason for doing the videos is basically so that anyone that's looking at the car online in an advert actually gets to see that car in operation. We know just how frustrating it can be to go and see a car which looks great in the advert, only to find out when you drive it it's got a fundamental problem which you clearly should have been told about, which would have shown up on test drive. A lot of our customers now travel from far afield, the whole of the UK, Europe in fact, so the least we can do is to go to the time and effort to do this for you. Road Test's also done these lovely quiet country roads very close to our premises, so hopefully be representative of what you feel yourself if offered a test drive in the car. The car itself's been beautifully looked after, as you'll know from the advert, and it feels like it when you drive it. It just feels like brand new to drive. It's incredible. It's a testament to the build quality of these things as well. Engine starts absolutely instantly, no warning lights at all on the dashboard, aside from a low fuel light of course. Temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it should be on a Honda car, and the car's been running for quite some time now. The engines themselves are just really lovely units. They're very smooth, very quiet, very refined, and don't think for a second that 2.2 has the edge over this in terms of performance, because it simply doesn't. It's this has got, if anything, more vigour low down than 2.2s. You know, pull away, it's got quite a sort of snappy throttle response, but a great engine, really is. And of course the fuel economy is substantially better on these than the 2.2s. It's a really great unit. Engine then feeds through into clutch and gearbox. Clutch on the car is absolutely perfect, bite points exactly where it should be, and it's lovely and smooth in actuation. The gearbox on the car is just sensational. It really is. You don't often say that about an SUV, because they normally just chuck a gearbox into them and the linkage is okay, and that's pretty much it. Honda go to great efforts to make these things good, and this gearbox would happily sit in a much sportier Honda than this. It's short and throw, it's got perfect weighting in synchromesh. It's just a beauty. It's one of their best gearboxes they've ever made. It really is that good. I don't say that lightly, because I've been selling these things for 20 plus years. This is joyful to use, and again, I can't feel any wear in it at all. It just feels absolutely crisp as it was when it was new. Sorry for the glary morning, but I've got a lot of videos to do, and I've had to start early this morning, so it's a bit glarier than normal. Steering of the vehicle, again, really nice. It's positive, it's accurate, it's reasonably quick as well actually, and the steering wheel helps because it's quite small in diameter. It feels sort of dynamic to hold. It also tracks absolutely bullet straight. There's no vibrations at all that come back to the steering wheel at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit, and just feels, as I said, just as though it's rolled off the production line. It feels that tight. What I'm looking for with the chassis, much the same as the steering, is just kind of any kind of looseness or signs of wear or tear in the chassis itself. Normally that manifests itself as sort of clonks or rattles from underneath, and there's nothing at all on this car. It's exactly as it should be. It's also wonderful chassis to use because it's very comfortable, beautifully damped. Body control's brilliant for this type of car. It's unlike so many, it really holds its composure in the corners, which is vitally important for rear seat passengers particularly. So corners actually relatively flat compared to a lot of cars. I mean, Honda know this market like the back of their hands. I mean, the CR-V is the best-selling SUV in the world, so if they don't know, nobody does, and it's a really class act. There's so many cars it can feel, very comfortable on test drive, when you're going down a straight bit of road, but when you're throwing some tight corners and some sort of undulations, that's when they kind of fall apart. And so this is where this one really does stand out. Brakes on the car, just check there's no one behind me. I'll give it a really good thump, but the brakes are really powerful. What I'm looking for on road test again is just signs of any kind of pulsing or vibration coming through the brake pedal, which would suggest sort of disc wear or pad wear, but more likely disc, but also that the car stops nice and straight. It doesn't pull violently left or right, and it's perfect in that sense. looking around inside the car, we've not even cleaned this car yet. It's just come to us, and it probably doesn't need a clean. It's that nice inside. It's also sensationally well made. There's not the merest hint of a squeak or a rattle in here. They really do assemble these things absolutely beautifully, and it's also just a lovely place to sit and operate a car. Being the SR, it's very similar to the EX inside in terms of the layout and specification, with only a few sort of changes, but the sat nav, you can see they're working exactly as it should. Dual zone climate control, so you can have different temperatures side to side, again pumping out absolutely ice cold air, and the quality of the actuation of all the controls is just brilliant. And you know it's going to feel the same when the car's done well into the hundreds of thousands of miles. So good is the quality of these things, and that shouldn't be underplayed, because it's, you know, it's nothing more annoying than switches falling off, or the, you know, the little writing of them sort of rubbing off in 2 seconds flat, as happens on so many so-called sort of well-built cars, without naming any names. The main dash itself, nice clear legible dials, really simple to take the information in, and everything working exactly as it should. The steering wheel looks and feels as new in hand as does the rest of it. It just feels wonderfully fresh in here, regardless of mileage. But lovely car. You can see why they're so popular. It just doesn't grate in any way, this car. You know, it'll all be well and good if the car's well built, reliable, practical, which they are. They've got all of that, but they're actually just lovely cars to drive, and I've owned loads of them. In that, I always come back to them. It's just a very pleasant car indeed. As I said at the start of the video, the point is to pick up on any issues. There's nothing to report back at all. The car drives absolutely beautifully. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate, please do give us a call.